The young and the restless spoilers. The latest whispers emerging from Genoa City have sent ripples through the walls of Newman Enterprises and beyond, as Phyllis Summers revealed that Summer Newman is not only flourishing in her ventures but has also captured the attention, and perhaps the heart, of a striking male designer whose reputation for innovation and charm precedes him. From the moment Summer returned from her whirlwind sojourn in Italy, undertaken in the wake of Sally Spectra and Chelsea Lawson's abrupt departures from her company, her every move has been scrutinized by the loyal viewers who know that under Summer's confident exterior lies a woman as passionate about her legacy as she is about those she loves. Though rumors swirled that her two most trusted lieutenants would follow their boyfriends away from her side, Summer surprised many and disappointed few. When she greeted the news not with bitterness or blame but with an understanding grace that steeled her resolve to succeed on her own terms. It is this combination of vulnerability and unshakable self-assurance that has cemented Summer's place in the hearts of fans, even as the specter of her potential absence from Genoa City for several weeks, or perhaps months, loomed on the horizon. In the early days following Sally and Chelsea's resignations, Summer grappled with a sense of loss that threatened to undermine her usual optimism. These were more than mere employees. They were confidants who had stood by her through boardroom battles and runway disasters, who had shared laughter in late-night strategy sessions over espresso and tears in moments of personal turmoil. The decision of each to abandon their posts, drawn away by the promises of ambitious boyfriends whose own careers beckoned, struck Summer as a betrayal of the sort she had no tolerance for in her private life. Yet true to form, she refused to allow anger to dictate her response. Instead, she penned heartfelt letters to both Sally and Chelsea, expressing gratitude for their contributions to her burgeoning fashion empire while encouraging them to chase the paths that called to them. In doing so, Summer reinforced her reputation as a leader who elevates those around her, even when the currents of loyalty shift against her. Her public statement, delivered with a poised smile at a press conference, underscored her unwavering commitment to her brand and her belief that adversity, when met with grace, becomes the catalyst for reinvention. Meanwhile, industry insiders have been abuzz over the identity of the designer whose interest in Summer has become a tantalizing subplot. Known for his daring silhouettes and a vision that flirts with the avant-garde, he first encountered Summer at an exclusive gala in Milan, where her effortless blend of warmth and sophistication caught his eye. Since then, sources claim he has dispatched his most trusted associates to work alongside her team, offering collaborations that could catapult her label into truly international acclaim. Yet despite the mounting speculation of late-night calls, clandestine sketches exchanged over candlelight dinners, and the kind of magnetic chemistry that fuels tabloids, Summer has remained inscrutable. In carefully worded interviews, she has praised his creativity, asserted that their partnership is grounded in mutual respect, and deflected any suggestions of romance with the practiced ease of someone who knows exactly how to keep the world guessing. This deliberate ambiguity has only deepened the intrigue, leaving fans to wonder whether Summer's next chapter will be authored alongside a visionary talent whose designs mirror her own flair for the bold and beautiful. Amid all this, a note of caution persists. Alison Lanier's recent reporting that there are currently no plans to recast Summer Newman has fueled concern that her screen time may dwindle in the months ahead. Without her vibrant presence to anchor the show's central drama, Genoa City risks feeling adrift, yet the possibility of an extended hiatus has, paradoxically, only magnified Summer's importance to the series. Loyal viewers have taken to social media to voice both their disappointment and their optimism, speculating that perhaps this hiatus is but the calm before the storm of Summer's grandest return yet. After all, any absence will only serve to reinforce the bond between mother and son. Summer's deepest devotion lies with her beloved Harrison Abbott, a child whose bright spirit has inspired more than one of Summer's fiercest business decisions. Fans recall the late-night phone calls she made from Milan, soothing Harrison's tears over video chat and promising that every design and every negotiation was undertaken in service of giving him the world he deserves. It is this portrait of Summer, a woman equal parts mogul and mother, that continues to captivate audiences, ensuring that no matter where she roams, the heart of Genoa City beats most strongly when she's at its center. Looking ahead, one thing seems certain: Summer Newman's journey is far from over. Whether she chooses to weather the current storm of staff turnover, embrace the tantalizing offers of a suitor whose creativity rivals her own, or take a step back to reaffirm the bonds that matter most, her every decision will reverberate through both Newman Enterprises and the tightly woven tapestry of relationships that define life in Genoa City. In a world where alliances shift like sand and power can be as fleeting as a viral photo, Summer's blend of tenacity and empathy positions her as a true force to be reckoned with. And though she may for a time vanish from the screen's familiar skyline, the legacy she has built, of resilience, reinvention, and unwavering love, will linger in every storyline, reminding us all that the most enduring designs are those shaped by the strength of the human spirit. Even amid candlelit dinners on rooftop terraces overlooking the Duomo and whispered promises in opulent fashion ateliers, Summer's thoughts never stray far from Harrison's bright eyes and tender laugh. No matter how intoxicating the charm of her new Italian beau, whose sculpted features and brooding creativity have swept her into an intoxicating whirlwind, her heart remains firmly anchored in the mother-son bond she cherishes above all else. Video calls at twilight, with Milan's golden glow framing her silhouette, have become routine lifelines. She soothes Harrison's bedtime fears through a pixelated screen, pressing a loving kiss to the camera and promising that tomorrow's sun will bring them closer. Weekend visits, too, have offered brief respites from the ache of separation, as Harrison's small hands reach out to touch her face, bridging the continents with the purest of joys. Yet Summer knows, with a clarity born of maternal instinct, that no amount of digital warmth can replace the everyday rituals of shared breakfasts, spontaneous playground laughter, and whispered secrets traded under the covers. The longing that tugs at her soul with each goodbye reminds her that absence, however gilded by romance, risks fracturing the very foundation she has fought so hard to build. What, then, of the question that looms larger with every passing sunset over the Arno? Suppose Summer, emboldened by the intoxicating promise of a fresh start and the heady air of Milanese possibility, were to inform her family that her return to Genoa City is not merely delayed but abandoned entirely. Imagine her declaration that she and her Italian partner, united by shared passion and creative vision, have chosen to settle permanently in a city where the fashion houses bend at their fingertips and the world's trendsetters await their next collaboration. Such a revelation would land like a thunderbolt in the hallowed halls of Newman Enterprises, where expectations of loyalty and legacy run as deep as the family fortunes themselves. Phyllis Summers, whose own history of fierce independence and unyielding love for her daughter has shaped Summer's story at every turn, would find herself torn between pride in Summer's audacity and heartbreak at the thought of an ocean stretching between them. Nick Newman, steadfast protector of his niece's welfare, would no doubt bristle at the very notion of relinquishing any measure of influence over Summer's choices. After all, it was Nick who had, time and again, stood in the chasm between Summer and her darkest impulses, guiding her back to the safety of familial bonds. Yet for all their potential fury or despair, neither Phyllis nor Nick could fault the logic that drives Summer's contemplation. After all, she is a woman who has transformed every setback into a platform for reinvention. When her company's stars deserted her, she rebuilt from the ashes with grace. When whispers of scandal threatened her reputation, she met them with unflinching candor. If Milan offers the promise of artistic freedom alongside a partner who sees her not merely as the heir to a media empire but as a muse in her own right, then perhaps the distance it imposes is a price she's willing to pay. Beneath the veneer of Dolce Vita and haute couture, however, beats the heart of a mother who knows that no runway applause could ever compare to the sound of Harrison's laughter echoing through their home. Phyllis, for all her pride, also remembers the emptiness she felt when Summer first ventured beyond Genoa City's borders, an emptiness that was only quelled by letters scented with Summer's lavender shampoo and promises of return. Would she rather see her daughter flourish among Milan's elite or shrink in regretful exile from the very child who inspired her greatest triumphs? In quiet moments, Phyllis and Nick find themselves weighing these fears against the undeniable truth: growth often requires distance, and love endures even across the widest of seas. They picture Summer sending home sketches of their family crest, reimagined as a laurel wreath entwined with La Sardegna's wildflowers, or Harrison's first drawing of the Eiffel Tower, rendered in primary colors, sent to muffle the ache of separation. They imagine Nicholas packing extra sweaters for Summer in the fall chill, or Phyllis stealthily ordering Harrison's favorite gelato from a Genoa City creamery that ships overseas. Small tokens intended to remind mother and son that home is not merely a place but a promise kept by the heart. And should Summer choose Milan over Genoa City, they resolve to honor her decision with the same unwavering support she has always shown them, trusting that time and love will guide her back when the thread of fate finally tightens. For now, the cameras may capture Summer striding beneath the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II in heels that click like applause, her laughter mingling with the clinking of champagne flutes, but true insiders know the delicate equation driving her every step. Ambition plus affection must equal balance, or the entire equation collapses. The burning question remains whether Milan's allure or Harrison's need will claim her first, and how the Newman clan will weather whichever choice she makes. One thing is certain. In a world where loyalties can fracture and alliances shift like quicksilver, the tie between Summer and her son is forged of a steel stronger than any power play or romantic entanglement. Whether she makes Milan her permanent stage or ultimately returns to the familiar skyline of Genoa City, Summer Newman's story is bound by an unbreakable vow. Her heart belongs with Harrison, and no distance, however glamorous, will ever change that truth. Summer's journey from heartache to newfound delight has been nothing short of a renaissance, her laughter now mingling with the clinking of fine crystal and the soft hum of Milanese streetlights. Yet behind every smile lies the memory of late nights spent poring over business plans and wiping away tears shed in the stillness of her villa, haunted by the absence of her most precious confidant. Phyllis and Nick cannot help but breathe a collective sigh of relief at the sight of Summer embracing life again. After all the betrayals, boardroom betrayals, and personal betrayals that once threatened to derail her spirit, she has earned these moments of ease and pleasure. They recall her steely resolve as she rebuilt her brand from scratch following the departures of Sally and Chelsea, the way she met each setback not as a defeat but as a crucible forging new strengths. Now, as photographs surface of her at lavish garden parties on the Brenta Riviera and late-night garden strolls beneath lantern-lit oaks, her family takes comfort in the knowledge that their daughter and cousin, respectively, has found the courage to rediscover joy. Still, the exhilaration of Summer's renaissance cannot fully dispel the shadows cast by her self-imposed exile. Phyllis and Nick exchange furtive messages when the sun dips below the horizon, their hearts tightening at the thought of Summer alone in a foreign land, her defenses lowered by the heady promise of romance. They cannot ignore the nagging worry that this handsome Italian designer, whose chiseled jaw and poetic flair have captivated Summer's imagination, might conceal a darker intent behind his cultured veneer. In whispered phone calls, they pose the unthinkable. Could he be courting her trust as the prelude to a meticulously planned abduction? The idea seems almost too terrible to contemplate, yet they know all too well that any Newman, with the weight of the family name and its fortunes, becomes a target for dangerous opportunists. As the daughter of a legacy built on power and privilege, Summer occupies a position of both admiration and envy. Any shadow lingering at the periphery of her radiance could slip through the cracks and become a weapon against her. Their fears find fertile ground in every unexplained detail. Why were the villa's security guards inexplicably reassigned on the eve of Summer's arrival? What of the unmarked sedan that trailed her car through winding Tuscan lanes, disappearing whenever she glanced in the rearview mirror? And why has her Italian beau been so insistent that she keep her phone on silent during their private dinners, insisting that she trust him implicitly rather than rely on the homeland protocols she once depended upon? Each anomaly fans the embers of Phyllis and Nick's anxiety, fueling images of midnight abductions orchestrated with surgical precision. They imagine Summer blindfolded in a remote villa, their beloved Harrison left alone in a Genoa City nursery, calling her name into the empty air. The prospect is enough to drive Phyllis nearly to tears and prompt Nick to draw up plans for an emergency extraction, if necessary, flying to Milan in the dead of night to rescue her from an unseen peril. Yet even as they brace for the worst, Phyllis and Nick cling to the belief that their daughter's inner steel will see her through. They remember the Summer who, as a child, refused to give in when a sudden illness left her fevered and delirious. The young woman who tackled corporate espionage head-on when a rival firm attempted to sabotage her first runway show. The daughter who, upon discovering a plot to wrest Harrison from her arms, had vowed to fight tooth and nail for her son's safety. It is this same indomitable spirit that now emboldens her to surrender, however cautiously, to the warmth of genuine affection. Phyllis reassures herself that any suitor who truly cares for Summer will welcome the presence of Harrison in their lives and prioritize his well-being above all else. Nick, ever the pragmatist, trusts that Summer's keen business instincts extend to her personal life, that she will recognize any red flag and retreat behind the ironclad walls she has learned to build. In the quiet hours before dawn, when Milan's skyline softens into a pastel promise, Summer sends her family a simple message. I miss you, but I am safe. It arrives alongside snapshots of Harrison's latest crayon masterpiece, bright strokes of yellow sunflowers encircling two stick figures, one labeled Mum and the other Harrison. In that image, Phyllis and Nick find both solace and resolve. They understand that Summer's choice to explore this new chapter, however fraught with risk, is born of a desire to live fully rather than merely survive. And so they steel themselves to hold back their worry, trusting in the lessons they have imparted to her, to question fate, to scrutinize smiles for hidden motives, and to fight, not only for her own happiness but for the safety of the little boy whose future depends upon her courage. For as much as she deserves to revel in the splendor of Milan's golden hours, Summer's greatest triumph will be ensuring that every return to Harrison's arms is made in freedom, unshadowed by fear, and warmed by the knowledge that no distance, however dazzling, can dim the bond that binds mother and son.